Hello. I will be comparing and contrasting two of the most influential documents leading to American independence: Common Sense by Thomas Paine and the Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson. Though written within months of each other in 1776, these works approach the same three basic ideas of tyranny of kings, the right to liberty, and the proper format of government. However, they approach these same three ideas in different ways and from slightly different angles. First, let's look at the idea of Keen's tyranny. In Common Sense, Paine boldly calls the king an enemy to liberty and argues that all attempts to check his power have failed because the monarch's authority is too great. To Paine, the very idea of monarchy is corrupt, as it concentrates the power on one person and destroys the people's freedom. Jefferson, in the Declaration of Independence, on the other hand, it takes the same view but grounds it in very specific evidence. He writes that the king is a prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant, is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. He then goes on to list King George III's many abuses, from dissolving colonial legislatures to waging war against his own subjects. Bear in mind, um, Jefferson and other American colonists would view themselves as British subjects, albeit disgruntled subjects because of their treatment under the king. Therefore, it was a war against his own subjects. To prove that tyranny is not just possible under monarchy, but inevitable, Jefferson does this. He also points out, according to Bernstein, that that the Parliament is not immune from this critique. However, the Continental Congress dropped the arguments against the Parliament because of their desire to have the focus solely on George III. Both authors expose the king as the enemy of liberty, but Jefferson's document makes the final official break with England. The second idea is that liberty is a right to all. In Common Sense, Paine sees liberty as a natural right that belongs to every person on earth. He describes a world overrun with oppression, yet in America he finds a rare place where people are willing to fight back. His message is that freedom is humanity's birthright, not a gift from kings or earthly governments. Jefferson confirms this belief, writing that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. He makes it clear that these rights come from God, not from any man or government. The government exists solely to protect God given liberties. Paine and Jefferson both argue that liberty is universal. The difference is that Paine insists it's a birthright, whereas Jefferson states it differently, declaring that the birthright comes directly from God. Finally, the third and final point is the format of government. Paine goes beyond criticism to propose a practical solution: a new representative government. He suggests a Congress made up of about 30 elected delegates per colony, approximately 390 in total, to ensure that the power remains in the hands of the people. By the 1776 Congress, which Jefferson was a part of, as Murlock notes, the Continental Congress already reflected Paine's vision, with more than 50 delegates meeting and dividing responsibilities among separate committees. So that way there's a division of work and labor. The Declaration of Independence, on the other hand, does not outline a specific structure, but does establish the colonies as free and independent states, each with the power to create governments that protect individual liberty. Jefferson's focus is not yet designing the system, but justifying the colonies' right to govern themselves. Therefore, Common Sense lit the spark of liberty. It challenged the monarchy, championed natural liberty, and imagined a new perspective on representative government. The Declaration of Independence implemented the spark into a fire, condemning the king's tyranny, affirming liberty as a divine right, and declaring that Americans would now govern themselves rather than listen to a king an ocean away. Together, these documents transformed the struggle for independence into a revolution for human freedom and liberty. Thank you.